thematically, what is this book about? We're all in a forest ark, and we all discover, to our dismay, in some cases, and later than we intend to, that we're not on a straightforward path.
Yeah.
And the characters in this book, Jules Epstein on the one hand, and Nicole, the novelist, on the other hand, are both on paths that are not straightforward, and they both find themselves in forest ark. I mean, that's why I think it's and I found myself staring at this, thinking, God, this is perfect. And I wish I had had this at the beginning of the book, as opposed to the end, so that it would be explanation as opposed to validation of my read.
My high school English teacher would agree with you.
He would?
He's one of my first readers, all these years later, of all of my novels. And he read this book without its title, and then I told him the title, and I told him that I was going to put it in the South Australian. He said, I really think you should put that in the beginning.
At the very beginning, right. Well, so let's go through a little bit more in detail about the story. So Jules Epstein is a wealthy lawyer in New York.
Yes.
Loses his parents. Older man, late 60s, right?
Yes.
Loses his parents. Makes the and marriage ends. Makes the decision to give away his possessions, particularly his art collection, his Matisse and other things, and goes to Israel and checks into the Tel Aviv Hilton.
Yeah.
Right. So he's on a journey of one sort. Then there's a second narrative, parallel narrative, not intersecting, but parallel narrative. A novelist named Nicole, who lives in Brooklyn, has 2 kids, whose marriage is itself faltering, who also goes overseas and checks into the Tel Aviv Hilton. Right.
Their journeys are constantly following the same physical ground. They're moving from New York. They check into that ugly hotel, which is on the cover of Forest Ark, the Tel Aviv Hilton.
Right.
And from there, both of their stories kind of explode out into the desert in Israel.
Right.
But much more importantly to me, these 2 stories are constantly going over and following the same kind of metaphysical ground. So not just physical, but really same spiritual quest.
Right.
And they are both Jules Epstein and Nicole are trying, in a sense, to find the courage to leave behind those old forms of their lives, those old ways of being that, in a sense, no longer fit them.